What is going on, everyone? It's OxxyOG, and today we're doing a 14 Dawnbreaker. We're running Soleil's Gambit. We're using it to get haste and Arakara Sackbrood. We are 704 item level, running Mountain Thane with Spear of Bastion or Champion Spear. I'm living in the past. Love this dungeon. Feels really good for Warrior because Spell Reflect is so good against especially the Lieutenants, and you have a very decent time surviving a lot of the big AoE damage that comes in this fight as a warrior because we're so beefy. So always love doing this one. Feel really like I'm being wrapped in a comfy blanket in this one, and it is a scary dungeon for damage, so that's always a nice feeling. I'll go over a couple of tips for it and then I'll let the video play out. So just want to touch base on a couple things. So these ritualists here, they cast something called Stygian Steed. If it goes on you, if you're using a plater that shows that things are casting on you, you can spell reflect it, and it'll put the circle around the ritualist, which will then explode, doing pretty massive damage to people within the circle, like both enemies and allies. So if your group knows to get out of it last second and let it explode, it cooks. That was only on, I think, 3 or 4 targets, and it did 10 million. A really good reflect if you're able to coordinate it, but also kind of risky if you're in just a random hug. Let's see, first boss is pretty straightforward. Just dodge the beams, use Spell Reflect if you're at a certain health where you feel like you might get one shot by them, but that usually doesn't happen. Using Pending Victory to try to take off that heal reduction, or the heal absorb. And yeah, honestly, you lust the second pack here. We have cooldowns back for it. You typically have your Recklessness and Ravager, so we blast this pool. The biggest tip that I can give for this dungeon is whenever Abyssal Blast is on you, I believe is the that big dot that the lieutenants cast, you want to be reflecting that. If you're not using a plater profile that I use Jundies, if you're not using a plater profile that shows you like if you're being cast on or who's being cast what, definitely consider getting it. It will help with the orb lieutenant and all of the lieutenants really that do big damage, and it also farms you a ton of damage in general. I think my Spell Reflect did like 5% of my overall in this dungeon, and I even missed 1 or 2 of them just off bad timing. So a couple other things. In the second boss, you're gonna see, I want to say it's on the 4th orb. You'll be able to watch it, but there's a bad overlap on the second boss where an orb goes out, and then immediately after the boss starts channeling like a big AoE pulse, and the orb will explode during that pulse. This is where your healer's going to want to use a cooldown, and you're going to want to use any big defensives that you have, especially if you're taking a lot of damage. But also Rallying Cry is really, really good unless you use it at a different spot to save someone. So just know that every time you do that boss, there will be that massive overlap. On top of that, depending on when your lust is, either the 2nd or 3rd lieutenant, the one that rolls the orb, there's also bad overlaps there with the orb getting sent out and then an Abyssal Blast dot being put onto someone. If it's not put on you so that you can reflect it, you can also use Rallying Cry there to try to save whoever ends up getting targeted by the dot, because they're going to need a massive defensive to live that, plus the orb explosion, especially on higher keys. Those are 2 big overlaps that you really want to focus on remembering to prepare something for, whether it's to save yourself or to save a teammate, because at the end of the day, you need everybody alive, especially on those lieutenants where you need them to die. On the final boss, especially as you get higher into the higher keys, I always pug, so because of that, my mentality is like, personal responsibility, personal responsibility, personal responsibility. I never rely on anyone to do anything for me unless they've shown throughout the key that they're reliable. So, like, for example, I think it was in this run, at the end, for Rashanan, when you're up on the ship still, you need to throw these explosive barrels onto the boss. Now, damage does matter on the boss because it'll help you in that later phase with not having to do as much. So, like, you still want to be pumping, but the barrels do massive damage and is what will help you phase the boss quicker. But there's a lot of damage that goes out in that fight. It's considered a relatively free fight, but the healer still has to like pump damage, and so depending on who is actually reliable for mechanics, you may find yourself needing to do a quick leap out, charge back in, and throw the barrel at the boss. Because we can do it really quick. Sure, we're melee, and it sucks to get off the boss, but at the end of the day, like, the only person you can count on in a pug setting is you, in my opinion. And that's what I've always used to get, you know, as far as I can each season, strictly pugging. Aside from that, I honestly think that this dungeon is pretty free. It really just comes down to, can your group survive the overlaps? And also, like, this boss randomly will just one-shot groups. I don't know if maybe healers don't prep it right or what. It happens more actually in the lower keys. I see like 3 people will die to the lines that spawn and just get obliterated. And it's like, okay, well, key's done, GG, even though this boss is very simple. But yeah, I don't really have too much else to say on like tips for this dungeon. Just watch how I play, take it as it is. I didn't play perfect, but ended up doing pretty good damage for 704 item level, and I still have Astral Antenna to get. I still need, like, even Cursed Stone Idol would be nice. Just looking for upgrades however I can. Hopefully next week I get blessed. But appreciate y'all for watching. I'm loving where Warrior is right now. I don't think, you know, I'm kind of nervous actually. I want to say I don't think that we're in nerf territory, because I don't think Fury needs it. I think that we're like mid-tier at best, maybe in pure like physical comps, maybe like high A tier, but with the arms buffs that came through, it's like competitive. Fury and arms are both good, which, you know, is good. I'm happy for arms people, but it's not like Fury's busted. But Mountain Thane Prot Warrior is pretty crazy right now, so I am a little nervous that, like, we might catch a stray. Like, I don't know where all of Prot Warrior's damage comes from in Mountain Thane. I'm guessing it's Thunder Blast resets with the 4 set. So I'm nervous they're gonna nerf our 4 set, which will hurt us. But in the previous nerf, they nerfed Thunder Blast damage for Prot, but for Prot only. And so if they keep on that, that would be great. Like, if they only hit nerfs to just Prot, the specialization, I'm for it. So keep us where we're at. I'm liking it, and I think we're only gonna get better and better as we get like fully maxed out on gear. And in raid, we feel great. So yeah, overall, just loving this tier. It's an absolute blast. Just working on
Rallying Cry in A.
Resilient 14 right now. I haven't had a ton of time to play, but when I do, it's like pretty straightforward. The groups have been good too, so hope y'all are having a great experience in Mythic Plus and Raid so far this season. And I love the dungeon pool. The only one that feels like really unforgiving is honestly after the nerfs to streets, like the timer nerf and whatnot. It's honestly just Halls of Atonement, at least at the 14 level, but we'll see how that goes as I climb up a little bit more. But as always, I appreciate y'all for watching. I'm going to sign out of this one and let y'all enjoy the rest of the run. Like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and let me know what y'all think. Always looking forward to any feedback that you give me, and I will keep working on runs. Enjoy. I'm out. Peace.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Find and defeat them, or we will have to face that commander at full strength. weakened their commander. They've taken the inn as a foothold, and a lieutenant leads them. Weakened the Nerubians' foothold on the town and their commander. Ashes! There's a lieutenant in my house! Kill it! Luckily, my daughter and her children are safe. You've weakened the commander and cleansed my home. Thank you.
Rallying cry in aid.
You've saved Merildar, champion. We'll drive the remainder of this shadowy lot from the city. Wait. No! They've sent a force backup and retaken the Dawnbreaker! If the Order of Night steals the Dawnbreaker, Merildar will be defenseless!
Strange.
Get these shadow cultists off my ship! of the blade! What is that fresh horror?
Queen.
You chased that monster from the Dawnbreaker. You must pursue and drive them from Hallowfall. This darkness is deadly. The Lamplighter's blessing will keep you safe.
Rallying cry in A.